All right, welcome to another episode of the Big Blue Report featuring that guy, two-time Super Bowl champion, former Giants defensive captain, Giants legend, and again, we call him Coach now, Jonathan Casillas, the Professor Ryan Darlington. I'm Randy Zellia from Back Sports Page. And before we get started, reminder, this is a listener-supported podcast supported by you, the Giants fan. Go to NFLshop.com right now. Support your 2025-2026 New York Giants. Now we can say you can get all the 2025 stuff on sale. Get the 26 gear that John Harbaugh wears on the sideline.
New York Carrick jerseys are super cheap now.
Yes. Same thing with. Same thing with. So let's just jump right into that. I guess we figured out what direction we're going to go. A lot of NFL news today, not just with the Giants, but across the whole entire league. I'm going to have my meltdown in a few minutes with news that broke today. But let's start with it. Bobby Okereke, no longer a New York Giant, hitting the free agent market, cut by the team, saving, I believe, and producer Ryan can let me know if I'm right on this, with Okereke's number being about $9 million the Giants will be saving. And
yeah, it's a $9.5 million salary, but it's $5.5 million in dead cap. So I think we're still on. I think our actual savings end up being around 4.5.
So that's a really big number when you think about it, especially when you have about $24 million to play with in free agency. So yeah. The Giants need that money right now. They need that. And from what I'm understanding, John Runyon is his head is on the chopping block right now too. So
yeah. It's a rough situation because, I've definitely got a great relationship with Bobby. I think Bobby is a phenomenal player. I don't think he's played well under Shane Bowen the last couple of years.
Did anybody?
That was my next point though. It's like, but all the guys struggled under Shane Bowen's defense. So it sucks, man. I hope that he does well, but not like Pro Bowl, All Pro, Bobby Okereke, right? Like, I don't want to see that. Of course I want him to see, but it's like, if that happens, it's like, man, we let another one of the guys go. Another guy that we know is a leader on his team, that know is good for the locker room, know is good for the organization, right? That's the only thing about Bobby. For me, I don't think Bobby's done. You know what I mean? So that's the only thing I'm like, And then the other situation on the other side of the ball with Wan'Dale, I didn't know that Wan'Dale was even considered a franchise tag candidate, but like the news is out that now that the franchise, now that Wan'Dale's gone now, like that's the situation now? Is that just hearsay?
I think right now you have to look where you want to spend your money, and the money that he is looking to get is not the type of money the Giants are looking to spend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I hate to say, you can get a slot receiver in the NFL free agency for a lot less than what Wan'Dale Robinson feels that he's owed right now.
And Randy, to be honest, you can get one in the draft. These kids are so talented. These last like 5 or 6 years, these receivers are coming into the league ready. These guys have been playing the wide receiver position since they were like 6, 7, 8 years old. Right, with the 7-on-7, right, with the 7-on-7 stuff that's been available, the 1-on-1 stuff, right, the coaching that has been delegated for the kids that are even really young, so they're coming in, these wide receivers ready to go, and these offenses are, I wouldn't say dumbed down, but it's not as, I think, intricate as the past offenses, the pro-style offenses from like, the 2000s and the mid-2000s when I was playing, the early 2020s even. But now it's like, it's almost simple, just kind of plug and play with these wide receivers and let their athleticism and their everything that helped them become a great college receiver that used to not transfer over all the time, but it has been transferring over. So I think they can find a really good receiver, maybe not to replace, because you can't take away from what Wan'Dale has done, especially last year, the year that he had, with him being the guy. He wasn't our number 2. He was our number 1 wide receiver for the New York Football Giants. And I think he did a tremendous job. So I hope the Giants can figure out a way, right? I don't know if it's possible, right? But I really would like him to stay with the Giants because he is the Giants draft pick. He is a guy that is another locker room guy. I think he has great energy, and I would love if the Giants could figure out how to keep Wandale, man. I really like what he's grown into.
Yeah, absolutely. But even if we do keep Wandale, we still need a number 2, right? We still need somebody that's actually going to be lining up on that other side when Neighbors comes back. Neighbors is coming back. He's coming back from a 2-year injury, right? He's not going to be the same Malik Neighbors as when he went out, right? It's going to take him a little while to get back up to that level. So, yeah, we'll have him, but we're going to have maybe an 80% Malik Neighbors, right? And so we're going to need a complement for him on the other side, especially if we lose Wandale. Quite frankly, I think he might actually go to the Titans, follow the only coach that he's had success under in Brian Daboll, so as the offensive coordinator. So, I mean, look, we there's a number of things that we need, and all of the things that we need are expensive, right? I guess that's the problem that I think we're running into right now. We're talking about getting re-signing Illuminor. Right, with the trade that just happened, the market was set at around 17, 18, maybe 20 million a year, right? If we're talking about retaining Wandale, that's another 15, maybe $20 million a year. If we're talking about a Tyler Linderbaum coming in, that's another $20 million a year. And I don't know, I mean, for a team that's actually right now looking like we're in the red when it comes to signing our draft picks, right? So we need to free up a shit ton of money anyway. And that's before we start spending money hand over fist on all of these expensive free agents. It's going to be a year where we're going to have to rely on the draft, but it's the year when we have the fewest draft picks. We've got a first, we've got a second, we've got a fourth. I think we've got 3 6th-round picks, and that's it, fellas. So, I mean, we're going to have to be very, very creative in how we restructure contracts. We're going to have to be very creative in how we structure the deals that we do end up doing with the players that we attain in free agency. And we're going to have to be very deliberate with our draft picks this year.
And by the way, JC, did you mean to say 6'7" before? Did you mean to do that?
I was reading the kids earlier in New Brunswick, and I was at this elementary school called McKinley. And I was talking to like the kindergartners, and I was like, "How old are you guys?" And they were like 6, 5, 6. I was like 6, 7. They all said 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7, 6. They went crazy, and I did it to like the older kids, like the 5th graders, and they didn't either. They was like, "Nah, bro."
They wanted no part of it.
They were like, "Nah, that ain't it."
they're looking at you going, "That was so last year."
Yeah,
no, right.
Cool.
We're not kindergartens, JC. Okay, okay.
That's right.
Oh man.
I like. At the end of the day, too, you have to look at what the Giants' needs are, and you have to fulfill those needs, and you have to look at them as priority. And I hate to say, but a secondary receiver is not a priority for all the issues that this team still has. Like to the credit of the quote unquote experts and the people who are looking at the Giants and the moves that the Giants have made so far with the coaching and the coaching staff, saying that this team is going to be probably the most improved team from last season to this upcoming season. But at the same time, we still have a lot of issues on the field that need to be addressed. So we can't sit there. We can't celebrate us could be saying we're going to get 9-10 wins and make the playoffs. We still need to fix this roster up and make sure we put the right pieces in.
Who are we going to win 10 games with? I mean, we don't know what the roster's going to look like.
Exactly.
It just seems like there's wholesale changes coming across the board. And it does not sound as though Harbaugh is particularly concerned about the idea of either drafting for need or drafting players in particular positions in the draft based on their position, right? So like Joe Shane, when he would go through, he wouldn't really draft the running back in the first round because he doesn't see that as a high value pick in that place. He wouldn't draft a cornerback for the same reason. I don't think Harbaugh gives a shit about any of that. He's like, if we're drafting the best player in that spot, whether regardless of what their position is, and I think there's something to be said for that. But it does make me nervous when we are trying to fill specific holes, right? If you're able to sign a Dane Belton back, you don't need a Caleb Downs. You've got your safety room, right? If you're they've already cut Okereke. So my example was going to be with Stunny Styles. I think he becomes a real possibility at 5 now as a result of that. But at the end of the day, if he's looking specifically at the best player for the position, then we could find ourselves in a position where we need to fill additional holes in free agency, and we may or may not have the money for that.
Not only that too, but we still have an issue that we have to discuss too. Is will Malik Neighbors A be back in time, and B, there's still the Kayvon Thibodeau issue, and I had heard everything from trying to lock him down to a new deal to try to move him. And right now, I think if you ask majority of the people involved, they would much more rather move him and keep that money than try to give him a bigger contract and say, I hope he lives up to his potential this year.
What does he do this year? What does he do this year?
15.
Right, because that's his that's the fifth year, right? Fifth year option.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. So I mean, look, if I think all it will take is for somebody to call up and say, okay, we'll give you our third rounder. If they can get a day 2 pick
for
Kayvon, yes.
Yeah.
I think that's realistic because I mean, right now at this point, they're trying to find people that will take him, and they're only the best they're doing is 4th round picks, right? Okay, maybe we'll give you a third day, and we'll take on the salary cap hit, but that's not worth it, right? I mean, he does have talent. It hasn't manifested over the course of the last couple of years, and that's what's hurting his trade value. But at the end of the day, if you're able to get a 3rd round pick, I think we jump at that offer and we pack him off to wherever that place is, save the money, and use it for somebody else.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they just restructure this deal this year, to where they put some money in his pocket right now and they can kick it down the road.
Extend him?
Yeah, and it'll almost be like, they extend them for 2 or 3 years, give them a couple dollars a year, give them, a nice guaranteed contract. Look, if Harbaugh sees him as a suitable third rusher, right? Those are, the pass rusher in general is the number one, one of the number one spots on the defensive side of the football. But a rotation of them is ideal, just like a running back, right? A rotational, defensive end, pass rusher, stand-up outside linebacker, let's call him a pass rusher, right? One of those guys, they're very valuable. And you need more than one. You definitely need more than two. You definitely need more than one. I said that backwards, but you guys know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, but are you really paying your third defensive lineman, $15 million a year? You know what I mean?
Well, you won't have to play Abdul for a long time.
Very true. That's very true. Yeah.
Now that he's off his rookie contract, he's going into his 2nd year. You don't have to worry about him for at least another 2 years.
Yeah, another couple.
So if you solidify Kayvon, you got 3 guys. Burns I don't know how long his contract is, but he's not up anytime soon, is he?
Yeah,
right. Another few years. Right. So you got 3 guys that will give you X amount of production. And how Abdul came along last year and the year that Kayvon had, I would love if they try to figure that out. And for me, when I look at this team, and I was just reading up on Dexter and thinking about Dexter's last year and a half, right? His performance last year, and then the year prior, that was when he got the elbow injury, right? Yep. That's when he ended up missing. He was probably the most dominant defensive player before he got hurt.
Yep.
In the NFL. He was insane what he was doing. My thing is, because it sounds like, they want to keep him and they think that he will be back. If we get that from Dexter, then we need to sign Kayvon Thibodeau, because Kayvon Thibodeau's going to be that much better. He's going to be that much better. Abdul Carter, all of these guys are really going to cause havoc if Dexter can go back to that early 2024. I mean, that was the best football I've seen played out of any position, bro. He was like having a historical run. Remember, he was leading the league from the nose.
Yeah, from the nose
in sacks.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like I really would love Kayvon. And if we do make that, that extension and we figure it out with him, or he just plays out this year, Dexter plays the way he plays, and we then what he's capable of, this defense is going to demand that you need to pay some of these guys.
Yeah, right.
And that's during the season, that's after the season, whenever the case is. But It really depends because if they have another lackluster performance, then you like Kayvon got to go. Dexter has to get out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. So, but I mean, what you're doing at that point is banking on the production. You're banking on the possibility of positive production. Some nice alliteration for you there, but you're banking on that. Thank you. You're banking on the possibility that that's going to be really good with Denard Wilson, right? And he's kind of a wild card in all of this, right?
Yeah.
Because inevitably, you've got to believe that you're going to get better production out of Dexter Lawrence. You've got to believe that you're going to get better production out of Kayvon Thibodeau, out of Carter. I don't know how you can get better production out of Brian Burns, but at the end of the day, there's going to be so much more movement on the line. There's going to be so much more disguising of blitzes. It's going to be a more complicated defense that's going to trip up offenses, and that's going to make everybody a little bit more effective. So, JC, actually, you had not that you actually did. I'm surprised by it. But you made a good point about if we're not able to get the value for Kayvon at this point, if everybody's sticking on the 4th round pick and that's just not enough for us, then maybe it does make sense for us to maybe take on a couple of years, kick out some of that guaranteed money, and so that we're not paying as much this year, but we still retain him, and they're able to really make more of their talents in a Denard Wilson defense.
And also with the way Abdul Carter came on towards the end of the season last year, it makes you think that maybe Kayvon's a little bit more expendable in that sense too.
So, but if we sign him up, he's not going to be expendable anymore, right? That's the whole thing. You're betting on him having a much better season in a different defensive coordinator system, right? Because if you're not entirely confident that it's going to be all that much different, then it's not worth it to spend that money. It's just not. Right, you're better off adding somebody later rounds in the draft, bringing somebody in, and training them to be what you want them to be. And I see Aftermath Pro Wrestling, good comment. Open the wallets, G-Men. Honestly, I'd love for that, but I don't think it's them being stingy. It's that they just don't have enough money. There's a cap. Right. It's at $301 million, and they've spent it all. They're in the red right now before they even sign the draft class.
It's not like the NBA and the Major League Baseball when they have guaranteed contracts.
Yeah, right.
There's going to be a hit on the salaries, but it's going to cost you for the short term to try to help you out for the long term.
Yeah.
And by the way, too, guys, the other thing too, we're talking about money moves. And by the way, everybody who's watching the show right now, thank you for watching and listening. If you want to be part of the show, feel free to go to the comment box, especially if you're on YouTube. Leave your comments there. We'll definitely address them live on the show. Guys, the other part of it too is you have to look at need. And I know that's been my major point this whole entire show so far is the need. Do you have enough on that defensive side of the ball right now to still make an impact, even if you took a piece or two out to help take that money to fill other pieces?
Like, what pieces are you taking out aside from Bobby Owen? And thank you, Ryan, for correcting me on that. It was $14 million. Team will save $9 million even after that dead cap hit. So I was wrong about that.
So I'm talking about, like, we're talking about Kayvon Thibodeau, for example.
Yeah.
If you're able to move him, that money can be used in other places. Look, you didn't pick up the 5th year on Evan Neal. So Evan Neal, so that's gone. So that first round money is no longer here. Okay. They need to find a way to get more money available, but still have impactful players. But that might cost you an impactful player here and there to try and shore up some of those major holes from last year.
Well, and I think the money that you're going to save by moving some of those elements on the defense, it's going to go straight to the offense, right? I mean, if we're talking about redoing the interior of the offensive line, if we're talking about adding additional receivers, right? Those guys are you need impact guys there now, right? You need impact guys there that especially if they're going to try and make this a run-heavy offense, right? You need a solid run-blocking interior line, and you don't have one right now, which means that you have to move some of these players, and you have to use that money on the defense to get some of those guys in the offense.
Okay, JC, I have to ask you this question. If they decide to cut a guy like Runyon, who has experience in this league, who's a great leader, especially in that room, is it worth cutting him or keeping him on there? Because if you're trying to go young, you still want to have a veteran voice in that room.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy that, you need, first of all, you need pieces that if somebody goes down, you have confidence that somebody can step up and play. and that could be John Runyon as choice A or choice B, because he got a lot of experience in the NFL, and he's a pretty serviceable player, and
Yeah.
we've been talking a lot for the last few weeks and stuff, but I feel like we gotten away from the Giants need a damn cornerback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure.
They need a cornerback.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's what they need for sure. Like,
Yep.
I don't know if I've talked about it the last few times, but I know when the season first ended, I was like, the Giants need to get a cornerback.
Yeah.
And they need a cornerback. Like,
Mhm.
that's for me, that's one of the main things that we need. Yeah. We got to figure out the Wandale situation, the Kayvon Thibodeau situation. But really? We really need a fucking cornerback, bro.
Yeah.
Like, if the Giants don't figure that position out, I don't give a fuck who you sign on defense.
Yeah.
They're not going to be good.
Right, but also, if you remember during the two Super Bowl runs against the Patriots, the defensive line was pretty stacked, and the secondary was okay between Aaron Ross and Corey Webster and those guys. You need to have guys that are serviceable. These guys are not serviceable right now.
No.
Yeah, but
And-
that was
and
back
you're-
in the day when it was more of a run central offensive league. I mean, run central offensive league back in the day. Now it's not like that. It's passing, right? You're talking about going in with a minimum of 60% passing every single week, you know, and it don't even matter if you got a lead or not. They're passing that football. You need guys to cover down the field, right? With this RPO stuff, the guys need to be smart. They need to understand what's the difference between a pass and a run, right? They need to understand coverages. They need to understand whatever the defensive coordinators implementing, right? And go ahead, because if we're going to keep talking defense, but I saw the question about Cam Scatterb. I wanted to talk about that. So if we're still talking about defense, cool. If not, Kenneth Walker, I mean, he's going to be very expensive.
Yes, he is.
Very expensive.
Yeah, he is.
But it all depends on. I mean, look, I think we would be crazy. I think we would absolutely be out of our minds to get rid of Cam Scatterb, right? I mean,
of course not. No, you're not moving on from him, but you don't know. I mean, his foot was dangling, bro.
I'm with you.
Yeah,
was facing the other direction.
I'm with you, man. I totally see what you're talking about, but it's an ankle's not a knee, first of all. And that's a dislocation that was healed up with bone, right? It's
facing the
other way. I know it's facing the other way, but that's because it was out. Once they put it back in and throw a few screws in there, it's fine. He's good. Fucker was at WWE 3 weeks later. He's fine. Set it and forget.
He has another one.
He's got some load him up with some cortisol and it was fine.
I'm a little bit more concerned with his injury than Malik Neighbors' injury.
Really?
Malik was a little bit earlier, and I've hopefully he does come back full strength. For me, like, I do think OBJ's injuries when he was here for the New York Football Giants definitely stopped him from being the player that he was.
Yeah.
I don't think Malik Neighbors is like Odell. I don't think, and I hope he doesn't respond. Hope he responds better because, there's a lot of people, like me that got some injuries in their career and just wasn't the same player when they were as early on. I think, and I guess I'm hopeful, but I think Malik Neighbors will make a really good full recovery. He got hurt really early in the season.
Yeah, it's an ACL, bro. Those things take a long time for you to really get back to football shape.
He's really young too. He's really young.
That's true.
He's really young, and a lot of young players, they bounce back. Almost, they don't miss a stride almost. And I'm the same with you, Ryan. When you were saying you're not going to be the same, I fully agree with that. He's going to be a little bit off, but it doesn't mean he's going to be a step slower.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hopeful. Like I said, Adrian Peterson had the best running back season ever the year after he tore his ACL. So we're all hopeful that we can get another Adrian Peterson repeat, right?
Yeah.
But for me, I do think there has to be some type of big-time offensive player that comes on the New York Giants, whether it's through free agency, whether it's through the draft, somebody that's going to come in and be a valuable target to Jackson Dart. That's something that they need, whether it's at the wide receiver position, bringing in more ammo on the tight end position, or at the running back position, especially because your main guy or one of your main guys is coming off a very traumatic injury.
Right, but what we've always said, and I'm sorry, I've said this so many different times on the show, and again, I'm using basketball as an example, but you might be able to get back physically, but then getting yourself back into game shape and getting yourself comfortable on the field recovering from those injuries. Not that I've ever been on the football field recovering from any type of injury whatsoever. I stubbed my toe on the sideline. I'm out for 6 weeks. So, okay. So,
Hey, toes are nasty, man.
Listen,
rough.
No one told them to put the edge of that cabinet right on the side there, man. They come out of nowhere, man.
Come at you fast. That's for sure. But it brings up an interesting question though, because we're going to see relatively quickly what the real focus of this offense is going to be, right? I mean, if we're talking about Jeremiah Love, if we're talking about Kenneth Walker, if we're talking about these guys after we probably jettison, and I hate to say it because I love the guy, Devin Singletary, right? It doesn't sound like he's part of the plan if we're talking about all of these other guys. I still think we can do a pretty successful Earth, Wind, and Fire with that combination. But if we're going to try and go for the cap savings with Singletary and move him on, it'll be very interesting to see what their expectation is from an offensive perspective. Yes, adding a good receiver is going to be pretty important. But if we look at what Harbaugh has done in Baltimore, it's power run. Guys, it's strong interior offensive line. It's power. It's between the tackles, north, south, down your throat. And we know Scatterbo can do that, right? Tracy is pretty good at that, okay? And then it just is a matter of who else do you really think we're going to get that's going to be able to pound the rock inside the tackles, because that's kind of going to tell you what direction they're looking to go in. And I have the feeling they're going to view the receiver position as slightly less important than the interior offensive line and the running back position if he's going to do the same kind of setup he's got in Baltimore.
Well, I was about to say the kind of setup he had in Baltimore was Lamar Jackson. As much as he did throw the ball, he was also a much more versatile quarterback.
Well,
and then Derrick Henry too. When you have a great running back like that,
sure. But you've got a mobile quarterback. You've got a mobile quarterback in Jackson Dart. You know what I mean? You've got a guy that can run that football. So you got a bunch of guys that can tote the rock, and then he's able to feather in some good passes down the field as a compliment. And that's a pretty decent look.
I'm sorry, I'm used to having a guy who had an open field in Philadelphia and tripped halfway through.
Hey, we're not talking about him, although he's done fairly well for himself.
Yeah, he got a nice little bag.
Are we going to go there?
Nice
Are
bag.
we going there? Are we going there right now?
It was going to happen eventually.
Hey, Daniel Jones, to put some respect on his name, he's a $200 million quarterback.
Yeah, he is.
he made some money.
JC, you know who I could? Ryan and I were on the phone before the show started. You know what we compare him to right now? Andy Dufresne, because he's the only guy who'd be able to crawl through shit and come back clean to the other side.
If you've seen Shawshank Redemption, he's the guy. He's the guy that crawled through a river of shit and came out clean on the other side.
Every single time, Daniel Jones comes back out after being a miserable situations, and he's coming back out making millions of dollars. He is Andy Dufresne.
It's crazy. So what exactly, because he got the transition tag, right?
Transition tag for $38 million.
Transition tag? What does that mean again?
It means he gets $38 million.
That's what it means, my friend.
Man, I saw that, and I'm not a real jealous person, but I got a little jealous when I saw that number. I said, damn, man. Ain't he hurt?
Listen, but he's
just
the
imagine
master.
if he had 2 Achilles.
Yeah, he'd get 75. He's the master at getting paid for the potential, right? Because he shows you what he can do, and even if he
shows you a nice little glimpse.
Glimpse.
Timing is everything, Ryan. Timing
is his forte. That seems to be his bag.
Football that he's ever played in his life.
Yeah,
is when his contract was on the line.
That's right.
You got to tip your hat to him. You got to tip your hat to him.
That's $200
million.
Yeah,
for the guy's career. So, hey, tip of the cap, bro.
Drives me bonkers when you see those types of situations. Oh my God! You look at him and you're like, oh well, he's in, and you know what? Not for nothing. I'm sitting here joking around about it, but first off, good for him. Second of all, he needs to be in a smaller market. He needs to walk into a media room and only see 5 reporters there, not 35, 40 reporters there.
He's in the right spot, man. I
Yeah,
mean, he's got
good.
a good line. He's got a great running back behind him. He is in a good spot. God love him. Wish him all the best. Thankfully, he's not in our division.
And I can more now can envision watching him play and go, Dufresne sits back, throws the bomb. So, guys.
Bonus trivia. You see the bonus trivia over here? Who are the 3 members of Earth, Wind, and Fire? I think that was. I think I know who that is. I think I know who that is. I think it's Bradshaw. I think it's Brandon Jacobs, and then it's
Derek
Ward.
Ward, baby.
Derek Ward.
Derek Ward. Yep.
Yeah, baby.
I remember that one. I really love that. I really love that idea of having a stable of 3 backs that can each tote the rock. You know what I mean? And look, in this kind of system, I don't think we could hold out any hope for Turbo Miller. It's just not the right kind of system for a guy like him. But, we've got 3 guys that can pound that ball. I think we're going to be in pretty good shape, especially if we can open up some holes for him.
Yeah, I know. I'm all for it. I like Singletary. I really do. I just don't know if he's long for this team at this point.
Yeah. If Scatterbull is not ready to go, let's say for training camp, Singletary will be a feature back this year for sure.
Yeah.
Because Scatterbull will come along at eventually, maybe, pup, right? To start. Singletary will be 100% involved in this. And that's where he becomes so valuable.
Uh-oh, did we lose JC? I think we lost
JC's volume went over.
You're talking. We can't hear you, brother. Yep. But I think I get where you're coming from. You're saying that's where Singletary's value is, right? Yeah, there we go. We got you back.
Yeah. I agree with you. He has a lot. He has a lot of value. He really does. But especially if Scotty's not ready to go by the time the season starts. And
what's
by the
his cap hit? What's his cap hit? Is it 5?
I think it's 5. No, his contract is 5. If they cut him, it's like 1.5.
Okay,
it's worth keeping him. I hate to say that, especially since you just made these
4.
Yeah, but not only that. Let me ask you about both the question: is it a necessity? If you take the attitude, hey, we are rebuilding this organization right now, is there a necessity to have Neighbors and Skytaboo ready for week 1? Or do you say, you know what, I'd rather have you guys ready and fully healthy, ready to go? Because a lot of these guys are going to rush to be ready for week 1 next year.
So I think the whole idea here is that we're not in rebuild mode. I think the whole idea here is that we're patching holes. We're patching holes. We're picking certain spots and we're filling those holes. And that's where we're at. But
when you bring in a new regime, though, unlike Dayball, I feel like this is the normal thing that happens. You get rid of guys, you move guys, you move pieces, right? And what Harbaugh said at his introductory interview, he said he want guys to love football, right? And I don't know who that is, but for him saying that, he's going to bring in guys that he knows love football, right? So he has to make space for those guys, right? So when he was saying that, he was basically saying, I'm going to bring in guys. It's not about the guys on the team. We're going to figure that out. But I'm letting you know, guys that come in this building, they're going to be guys that love football, and we have to make space for those guys, right? So we got to figure who those casualties would be. We already got one, Bobby. And I'm not saying he don't love football, because I think Bobby loves football. But that's the message that I'm getting. We're ready to do what we need to do to bring in a locker room full of guys that just all about ball, right? And that's the John Harbaugh's way. So that has to be a shift. He's already shifted the organization. So you better believe the roster is going to have a big shift. And you already started with getting rid of a captain.
Yeah.
Got rid of a captain.
Yeah.
So that's already, I think, a signal like things are coming, things are going to change. Things are going to be changing here. Hopefully it's all for good,
Well, that's why I asked JC if you got cut before the show started. I was like, don't make sure you're not cut.
I've actually never been cut.
Hey, look at that.
In any sport.
Yeah. I've never been cut either, but it's because I never played any sport. So
we're even.
Yeah, we're even. It's all good.
Listen, I'm not for nothing. I'm the Jewish guy. They said you don't belong here. You belong in the stands. Get with the band.
I'm not touching that.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, guys, real quick. Some other news around the NFL. Obviously, Kyler Murray getting cut today, receiving his notice, and Tua is not too far behind him in Miami. That move is coming. If it's not happening tonight, it's going to happen tomorrow. Breece Hall gets the franchise tag, which he is not happy about.
I'm sure not.
He made it very clear that he is not happy about getting the franchise tag. I
seem to recall another situation a couple of years ago where a New York running back got franchise tagged when we really should have been signed up for a longer-term contract. Who was that again? How did that turn out? Yeah,
Saquon.
I blocked that from my memory. It's gone.
It's like a PTSD. It's gone.
I love the comment that producer Ryan just put on the screen. By the way,
I do like me some Breece. I do like me some Breece Hall though. I think Breece Hall is a phenomenal football player.
He is. Yeah,
he's really good.
You know, guys. Too, the other thing we also have to remember too is, not only with free agency coming up, we also have the draft. And I'm sure that Harbaugh and Joe Shane and the rest of the brain trust of the Giants are coming up with a game plan on the things that we're sitting there questioning what they're doing. They probably already have an answer, maybe 3 steps ahead of what we're even talking about.
Oh, inevitably.
Yeah.
It fucking better be. Jesus, we better not be the brain trust over here.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine that? All right, we're going to cut O'Carey. All right. What do you want to do in his place? Oh yeah,
we better watch Big Blue Report.
You gotta
figure that out.
We're not going to re-sign Ronald Robinson. What are we going to do for a second receiver? We need one of those, don't we?
Oh, yeah, I guess we do.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
And because he's on roster and they're not going to do anything with him, is Slayton our number 2?
Yeah, right now
he's not really our number 1 because Neighbors is out.
Right now,
Neighbors is not healthy. He won't be healthy when they start. He's not going to be participating when they start.
No.
So who's going to be our number 1 receiver if Wan'Dale's gone?
Jalen Hyatt, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my god! Oh my god! You see the look? He just threw up in his mouth a little bit.
A little bit. I tell you what, he's not a number 1. He's not a number 1. But he's number 1 in my heart. Isaiah Hodgins. I love Isaiah Hodgins. I really do. I really love Isaiah Hodgins. I love his size. He's a big wide receiver.
Yeah, he is.
And he made plays, bro. He came.
Yeah, man.
And this is now he's a repeat offender, right?
Yes.
Shows up in the middle of the season and makes plays, and it's like. How is he not playing for other teams?
Yeah, and let's not sleep on Olszewski either. I mean, let's talk about him being productive towards the end of the season. I mean, if we give these guys some opportunities, Jalen Hyatt included, if that kid can actually clean up his routes, get his shit together, and learn how to actually put. Yeah, Jalen Hyatt. If he can actually get his shit together and learn how to catch a fucking football, then maybe he can actually have a decent shot at making the team this year. I know I'm just saying it's a maybe. It's a maybe, but there's guys that are. I guess the point is,
I think he's going to be one of those casualties. I think he's going to be one of those casualties.
It's not going to be a cap casualty at that point. It's just going to be a get the fuck out kind of casualty. But.
Yeah, Ryan, you have to start learning how to express yourself a little bit more.
Somebody
you really have to get in
contact
with your feelings. You know what I mean? Like, I really have a hard time understanding how you feel about this stuff. You really have to let it out more.
Well, I'm pretty good at masking my emotions. But I mean, look I guess the point is when you bring in that whole new coaching staff and you bring in that whole new energy and you bring in all of this new stuff, there's a different feel. There's a different system and there's a different mentality in the locker room. And so the guys that maybe it's the same thing with Tate Banks, guys that maybe didn't do so well in the previous couple of years under the previous regime do have a chance to get their shit together and do what they were supposed to be doing all along. If there's a better system for them, if there's more stability in the system, if there's more accountability in the system, maybe they respond in the same way that Abdul Carter did. Right? It just gives them a chance that they may not would have had otherwise. Right? So we bring the guys into camp, and if they still suck, then we show them the door. But
they've had chances, right?
But they've had but who have they had chances under? The guy that didn't want to play, Jalen Hyatt. I get you with that.
But we're talking about the NFL. We're not talking about, can he fit this scheme to actually look like a competent player, right? These guys, both of these guys that we're talking about on both sides of the ball, I don't want to say their names because I don't want to kick them, right? I don't want to kick them down, right?
Yeah.
But y'all know who I'm talking about. Those two guys, the one guy on offense and the one guy on defense, right? Third round and first round, right? They've played in different offenses and different defenses, and they still don't look like they can play football in the NFL. That's what I'm trying to say, Ron. Like, it's not like, he could have been better. No, they don't look like they can play in the NFL. They don't look like they belong on this level.
They did that first year. Both of them.
Not
They
Jalen.
did that first year.
Not Jalen. He never really did.
Well, I mean, I think it could be said that he was never really given a proper chance that first year. And then ever since then, it was just downhill.
Yeah,
I get you.
No?
But, like, how many times are we going to say we got to get him with the right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how many years now? It's like, all right, let's say that first year under whatever offense you want to look at, right, on his side of the ball, right? When you have multiple years, you didn't learn already, right? And then Banks 2 years under Bowen, right? Maybe not the first year, but the second year, bro. I don't care where you're at. By your second year, you better figure that shit out and play some football.
Yeah.
Okay, we gave Evan Neal 4 years. He couldn't figure it out. We gave Eric Flowers 6 years. He couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
Can
Okay.
we bring back Flowers into this conversation?
Hey, all right.
It's a
I'll
fair.
take him.
This do we have to agree with this? We cannot talk about nobody that played when I played. Okay, we can't.
Listen, Eric Flowers was the perfect example of, I don't know, he was a cat, man. That guy had 9 lives, and then finally, that one trip to Houston, that was the end of it, my friend.
That's all it took. That's all it took. Yeah, jumped the shark. Yeah.
All right, guys. All right. Real quick, again, if you're watching the show, thank you for giving us some time of your evening. We really appreciate it. Feel free to leave some comments in the comment section. But gentlemen, it is time for trivia.
Woo!
All right, here we go. You ready? Boom!
All right. Which New York Giants defensive player recorded the game-clinching interception in Super Bowl XLVI? I don't know what the fuck that is. Against the Patriots. All right. Defensive player recorded game-clinching interception in the Super Bowl against
46.
the Patriots. 46. Look at you. Jesus. Justin Tuck, Antrell Roll, Chase Blackburn, or Corey Webster. I think I know the answer to this one. Go ahead, JC. Who's your guess?
Chase Blackburn, baby.
Really? I was going to go Corey
sir.
Webster. Go ahead.
The correct answer is Corey Webster, ladies and gentlemen.
What Super Bowl was that when Chase
Win.
Blackburn had the interception?
Win.
Because he had an interception in the Super Bowl.
That's
With
the one you
Justin-
dreamt about 3 years ago.
No. Hold on, wait. Let me see.
Was it Chase Blackburn? So
It
now
was-
Stern is jumping
no,
in.
it
He's
was-
like, no, you guys are
no,
all fucked.
It's
Chase
Corey Webster with just a minute left in the game. The Patriots quarterback Tom Brady attempted
I
a
remember
deep
that.
pass in the fourth quarter. Webster stepped in front of the receiver, intercepted the ball, sealing the 21-17 victory for the Giants to give them their second Super Bowl win over the Patriots in 4 years.
And that's not even Wikipedia. That's actually good stuff right there.
Thank you very much. I'm here all week, ladies and gentlemen.
Mhm.
All right, gentlemen. So now next week, we're in free agency mode.
We sure are. We're going to know a lot more next week.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out exactly how the hell Daniel Jones had a bad freaking...
Would you just leave that man alone? Would you
Listen,
leave the man alone? Listen, he got his money. God bless him.
I just did... Well, Ryan Stern, can you let us know what the transition tag means, please? Also, by the way. Because
I just watched the video of Chase Blackburn intercepting Tom Brady in the Super Bowl.
But it wasn't the game. There wasn't the game clinching one, was it?
Oh, the game clinching one.
That's what I'm saying, baby.
Sometimes, you know,
I remember that.
listen, I read to kids all day today. I'm a little exhausted, okay?
We picked Chase Blackburn out of the fucking classroom that year, didn't we? Wasn't he the guy at the very beginning of the season? He was in Ohio teaching math. And they called him up and were like, "Hey, you want to play with the Giants?" And the fucker went to the Super Bowl. Got a ring.
By the way, good for him. He was a defensive coordinator this year.
Was he?
Yeah, he was. He's
Good
out.
for him.
He was. I think he was with the Rams. I think that's where he was. I'll double check on that.
Who, Blackburn?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Very
good for
good.
him. He's look. He's one of the success stories, man. He really is a success story. By the way, guys. Oh, I'm so good. There it is. There it is on the screen.
Yep. 1-year guaranteed tender designed to help teams retain restricted or unrestricted free agents at a lower cost than the franchise tag. Jesus Christ, $38 million is a lower cost than the franchise tag. Pays the player average of top 10.
Yeah. It's like
Andy Dufresne.
$5 or $6 million
Dufresne.
cheaper.
Yeah. Andy Dufresne, ladies and gentlemen.
There you
Andy
go.
Dufresne. By the way, guys, don't forget May 30th in Panola, New York, the Brian Burns celebrity softball game. LPG is at it again, ladies and gentlemen. The lineup is starting to come together. Go support LPG. Go to spidagame.com for more information. Tickets are available now. JC, you participated in these games. LPG does the most fan-friendly softball games probably more than anybody else out there.
Yeah, and I'm really like, I guess I'm not surprised, but it's impressive that he can bring in as many current Giants players and former Giants players every single year, right? It was Landon Collins, it was Dexter Lawrence, softball game, and now you have Brian Burns. And LPG does a great job. He's a great guy. You know, he's for me, he's the best fan I've ever seen, not just Giants fan. He's the best fan I've ever seen. He's not just a fair weather fan. He's a guy that never speaks poorly about the Giants, ever.
Yeah, even when he could.
Even when he should. He never does, man. And you got to tip your hat to him. Because we've all been there looking at the Giants like, what the they're doing over here? He doesn't. He has this delusional optimism, you know, and it's at the beginning of the season, it's what's it called when you can give it? There you go. That's the word. See, I was reading too much today to kids. Too much reading for me.
But I will tell you, I remember the first couple years of his softball game. I remember players were going into the crowd, signing autographs, just making it so fan friendly. Everybody went home with something. The dodgeball game is pretty fun to watch.
Yeah.
The home run derby game is very fun to watch, and the actual softball game, it's a great experience. I highly recommend it. Go to spidagame.com to get tickets.
What's the date again?
May 30th.
May 30th.
Yeah, May 30th.
And was it last year or 2 years ago? When I went, they gave these really cool book bags, right? They were big red, like military book bags, but they were bright red with the little tags on them and stuff.
Nice.
Right? The patches, right? They had the patches on them, right? So I'm checking out the bag, opening this like t-shirts and sweatshirts and all kind of stuff in there, all kind of stuff. And then I opened the front zip pocket. I was like, yo, tequila? Vodka? So then I looked around. I think Brandon Jacobs was next to me. I said, bro, they got nips in the bag. They got nips in the bag. If you ask LPG, they got nips in the bag, he could be like, JC. I was telling everybody. I was like, yo, they got nips in the bag.
What makes it fun? I'm putting him on blast, and I feel so bad about it, but it was so funny.
You don't feel bad about it at all.
The first year of the game, I was really amped up because I was going to get to talk to Ahmad Bradshaw. It was the first time I really got to meet Ahmad Bradshaw, and I love Ahmad Bradshaw. And I walked by the player dugout, and you see the coolers. And there's Ahmad Bradshaw sitting there on the bench.
Sleeping?
Sort of.
Sort of was correct. I walked by, and there it is, just like this.
It's not fucking Powerade in there.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that same game that I went to, was it that? I'm trying to think because I've done a lot of things, right? Was it that game?
JC was kind of sort of sleeping too, I guess.
Nah, because sometimes like the Tiki Barber softball game that I played in, like there's other things that I'm like, was that the same day? I had drinking, kind of. But it was one of them. Brandon Jacobs had his iPad, right? And I'm sitting there trying to like stream the Tyson Fury fight on my phone. So I'm sitting there like, man, I can't get the nice streaming right website. And then I look, it's like 6 guys over there in the corner. I was like, yes, I know they're watching the fight. So between, I'm talking about guys wasn't going out in the outfield so we could watch Usyk and Fury fight. But the reason why I really, really love this softball game, of course, we get a chance to give back to the fans and, give them a show, give them a different experience, a lot more personal experience, get up close with the players and former players and stuff. But the camaraderie that the former players and the current players, they all come together. And it's not too many times that they get to do that.
Yeah.
The Giants do a good job, but they don't do that. They don't do something like that. Like have everybody outside having a good time playing around for hours, right? Not just for an hour or 2 hours. For hours, you're out there, you're playing dodgeball, you're playing softball. So that's what I like about it. Joe does a good job in bringing the guys together.
Yeah.
And the first year, I remember Eli came, and it was like it was a big thing that Eli was there because Joe was like always trying to work on getting Eli to come to things, nice. And he got him there. Eli didn't really participate in dodgeball. He didn't participate in anything. He just went to the bat one time. I actually have the video of it still, and he hit like a grounder that should have been like an easy grounder. And
did he run?
Sure. That was
sure.
Yeah,
you can call it running
if you want to call it that.
It was so
buy your tickets now.
We'll call it a we'll call it a jog. How's that?
There you go.
He was wearing Dockers shoes. You know what I mean?
Nice.
He wasn't really able to do that. So
that's wild.
But, yeah. So guys, thanks you. Follow the show every single week on social media platforms as well as podcast platforms. Give us a review. Let us know you like what we're doing. Tell us that we suck. You can go anywhere in between those two. That range there.
Gonna shout out my buddy Joey and my girl Lanice for watching tonight. Love that you guys are part of this show. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, guys, and thank you very much. And we really appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Free agent time continues, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Big Blue Report. Until then, we'll see you then.